Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children. I welcome you all to our online teaching academy Ekalaiva. This is class 12 biology, and in our last video we have seen about our abiotic factors acting in our environment, okay? And here we are going to start with the responses to these abiotic factors. I told you when we were seeing about all the abiotic factors, I told you that how the biotic components adapt to that abiotic factor to survive in that particular condition, okay. So, we will see in this video how these biotic components, in the sense plants, animals and all, responding to this abiotic factor, okay. So, this is only we are going to see under the topic responses to abiotic factors, okay. So, this responses to abiotic factors, before going deep into that, we will see a phenomenon called homeostasis, okay. Homeostasis. What is it homeostasis? Okay, the meaning is steady state, okay, steady internal environment in the body of an organism. So, that is homeostasis is the ability of the organism to maintain a stable internal environment, in the sense, okay, we people, we have our body temperature which is constant, okay, and our body is having the ability to maintain that constant body temperature irrespective of the temperature in our environment, okay. So, external temperature whatever it is, okay, even when you go to polar region, your body temperature will be 37 degrees Celsius only. According to the outer temperature, a body will not change that temperature. So, we have the ability to maintain our constant body temperature, constant osmolarity in our blood. So, this ability, okay, to maintain that steady environment inside our body, we are calling it as homeostasis, and this ability, it is not there with all the organisms, okay. So, based on that only we are going to categorize the organisms into two types, okay, we will see it later. So, this homeostasis, it refers to same state, that is steady state, the process of keeping the internal body environment in a steady state when the external environment is changed. Whatever the change is taking place in the environment, the organism can maintain its internal environment. So, that process, that ability of an organism, we are calling it as a homeostasis. So, ability of organism to maintain a relative stable environment involving continuous monitoring, regulating multiple parameters. It might be of a body temperatures or osmolarity of the blood, etc. Okay, multiple parameters, and coordinating the responses to minimize the disturbances so that they can adapt to that condition and they continue to survive in that available habitat, okay. So, that is we are calling it as homeostasis. So, based on this ability to maintain the internal environment, we can categorize the organisms into conformers and regulators, okay. The two types of conformers and the regulators, they are categorized based on the ways an organism deals with changes to its environment. So, now we will see, this is an important part of your 3-mark question, okay. And now we will see what is that regulators and conformers first. What is that regulator? We are regulators, okay. We are an example for a regulator. So, what is that regulator? When you see regulators, okay, regulator is an animal that can maintain a constant internal condition. Because of that only I told you human beings are the examples for regulators, okay. We have that ability, okay, already I told you. So, even if the external environmental temperature or whatever the condition is fluctuating, we have our own ability to maintain our constant internal environment. So, this type of organisms we are calling them as regulator, okay. Example for regulator, endotherms. I will tell you endotherms or homeotherms, I will tell you the meaning later. So, we are endotherms, okay. See mammals, such as mammals and birds, okay, we are mammals only, no. So, this is about regulator, which that is the organism who are maintaining a steady internal environment in their body irrespective of the changes outside. Then the next one is conformers. Okay. So who are conformers? When you see, conformer is an animal that allow its internal condition to fluctuate in response to its external condition. So if the temperature increases in the environment, automatically their body temperature will increase, okay, according to the changes in the environmental temperature. If it decreases, again the body temperature will decrease. They will not maintain a stable body temperature. In the same way, other parameters of their body also. So these kinds of animals, we are calling them as conformers. Examples are given: certain fish, okay, allow their body temperature to increase or decrease with the outside water temperature, and certain marine arthropods are able to change their internal solute levels. As I told you, something called osmolarity, okay, solute level in their body fluids, okay. So solute level to match that of the ocean around them, okay, you know, okay, it is salt water. According to the solute concentration in that water, these organisms will change their body fluids solute concentration. So in response to the external environmental condition, they are changing their body condition. They are not maintaining the steady condition in their body, and these types of animals, we are calling them as a conformers. Okay, is that clear? The difference between regulators and conformers? Yes. So conformers, okay, habitat occupation of conformers and regulators. What is the role of these conformers and regulators? When you see, conformers can only survive in habitats which provide their particular environmental condition. It is not always possible for the conformers to adjust their internal environment according to the changes in the outer, okay. So if they cannot go to that, adapt to that external condition, they cannot increase or decrease the body temperature, ultimately they will die. They cannot survive in that particular condition. So they can survive in habitats which provide that particular environmental condition, although they conserve energy by not regulating. Actually, regulation is an energy requiring process. We are using energy for maintaining our body temperature, okay, but they are not using energy, they have conserved energy. In spite of that, they cannot change their internal environment, okay, more than the extent, okay. There is a limit, okay, how much they can change. More than that, if they cannot change, they cannot live in that particular condition, okay. That is the disadvantage of our conformers, but they escape from that condition by using so many methods. In our next video, we will see all those things. See, then the next one is regulators. So regulators use a lot of energy to carry out their homeostatic activities. I told you, okay, they are that homeostasis is an energy requiring process. So they are using their energy to maintain that particular body temperature or whatever the parameter. So huge advantage they have is, what is the advantage with this regulator? When you see, they can colonize a range of different habitats, okay, because they have, wherever they go, they can maintain their steady body temperature, that is steady internal environment in their body, so they can habitat wide range of areas, okay, that is the advantage. So they can maintain their internal environment, okay. So this is the advantage and disadvantage with our regulators and conformers, okay. So this is a graph. Already I told you in our first video, we have so many graphical questions in this lesson, and this is one graph which is given under this particular topic, responses to abiotic factor, and this is how they will give you the graph and they will mark you like this. See here, A, B and C. They will ask you what is A, what is B, what is C, why A is so, it is working so, what, why C is called so, whatever it is, okay, I will tell you now. So C, when you see, okay, the external level, it can be of, okay, temperature, environmental temperature, osmolarity, anything. External environmental condition, and this is the internal body condition, Okay, they didn't give you any specific parameter. Maybe in your question paper they can give you. Okay, so see here, keep on, the external level is increasing. Yes, started from 0, it is keep on increasing. So as it is increasing, in 3 cases something is happening. So first we will take A. Okay, so when the external level is increasing, automatically see here, the internal level also started increasing. For example, we will take it as a body temperature. Sorry, this is environmental temperature and this is a body temperature of an animal. Okay, see, as the environmental temperature is increasing, the body temperature also started increasing, but after some extent, okay, it becomes constant. In this place, it becomes constant. This is one category. Okay, this is one category. And the next case, B, when you take, see B, for example, okay, suppose if it is 37 degrees Celsius temperature, the environmental temperature is keep on increasing, but there is no increase in the temperature of that organism. It is maintained at that 37 degrees Celsius. So this is steady state. So what we are calling it as homeostasis, B. Then when you take C, see here, as the environmental temperature increases, it keep on increasing. Okay, so now what is the difference between this A, B and C when you see? A, we can call it as, first we will complete B and C, then we will come to A. So B, okay, they are maintaining their steady state, so we can call them as regulators. Regulator. So B is regulator, whereas when you see this C, according to the changes in the environment, it is also changing. It is not maintaining a steady state. So we can call our C as conformers. Okay, then what is that C when you see, sorry, A when you see? Okay, this is regulator and this is conformer. What is the name? How can we call this category of animals when you see? You can call them as a partial regulators. Partial regulators, because initially, okay, these animals, they cannot maintain their internal, that is steady internal environments, but after some time they can do that. Okay, so that's why we can call them as a partial regulator. So this is the second graph what you have to concentrate, and under a part, as a part of 3-mark question, you can get this question. Is that clear, children? So this is our graph, and I told you, ectotherms and endotherms. Okay, we will see something called thermoregulation and osmoregulation. Thermal in the sense temperature. Thermoregulation is nothing but regulation of the body temperature of an organism. Based on that thermoregulation, the organisms can be classified into 2 common words, you know that. Okay, that is warm-blooded animal. The other one is cold-blooded animal. Okay, and I think, okay, what is the difference between warm-blooded animal and cold-blooded animal? We are warm-blooded animal because we can maintain our constant body temperature, whereas when you take amphibians and all, they are cold-blooded animal because they cannot maintain their body temperature according. That is, just now we have learnt a different word for that as a regulator and a conformer. Okay, so that is cold-blooded animal, they keep on changing their body temperature according to the changes in the environmental temperature. So first one, regulation of body temperature. Okay, we are calling them as homeotherms, which can maintain their regular body temperature, and even we can call them as endotherms. Endotherms keep body temperature constant even in winter by increasing some metabolic activities. Okay, so this is okay, already how the polar bears, okay, they are provided with that blubber, their fur and all, how it is keeping their body temperature and all. Okay, so this is about the homeotherms, that is endotherms. The next category we are calling it as a ectotherm. Ectotherm in the sense, just now I told you, conformers, which cannot maintain their constant internal temperature. Then how, there is a question, how ectotherms achieve temperature independence? They cannot maintain, but how they escape from the changes? When you see, very few examples are given here. See, it is actually independence from maintenance of a temperature within the narrow range. Some animals, okay, they will adjust, behavioral adjustment will be there. Okay, kangaroo rat and all, okay, they are living in a hot desert. Okay, when the temperature increases, what they will do, no, they will go and hide themselves in the burrows. Okay, they will not expose their body to the direct sun radiation. Okay, so behaviorally, they will control their body temperature. Okay, when it drops, when the body temperature drops, they come and bask in the sun. Okay, they will come and stand in the direct sunlight. So according to the temperature increasing there, here also they can change their body temperature. See, ectotherms cannot control their body temperature physiologically, in the sense they cannot maintain internally. Okay, but they can regulate their body temperature behaviorally. See here, desert lizards. Okay, desert lizards exploit R2R changes in solar radiation. So daytime and all, the temperature will be very high. Okay, that time they will go and hide themselves in burrows. Okay, when their body temperature becomes very low, they will come out and they will expose their body to that sunlight. So that in this way, behavioral manner, they are maintaining their body temperature. So one of the example is desert lizards. Okay, and so R2R in solar radiation to keep their body temperature relatively constant. I told you just now how they are changing the body temperature. So this behavioral pattern help to maintain relatively a constant body temperature, okay, which is ranging from 36 to 39 degree Celsius. Okay, so this is how physiologically they cannot do, because they cannot spend energy. Okay, because to maintain they need some energy. Okay, being endotherms, we are using some of our energy, which is not possible with these animals, but behaviorally they will do all these things to escape from that particular changes. Okay, then the next one, okay, thermoregulation is over. The next one is osmoregulation. Based on this, even we have osmoconformers and osmoregulators. Osmoconformers, animals whose body fluid are in osmotic equilibrium with the surrounding environment. I told you, okay, we have seen the marine arthropods. Okay, according to the solute in the sea water or ocean water, they will change the body fluid solute concentration. So they are called osmoconformers, and animal who maintain an optimal salt concentration. We are example for these osmoregulators. In their tissues, regardless of changes in the salt concentration of the surrounding, okay, we are calling them as osmoregulators, and we'll see how this osmoregulation is taking place in our body. See here, okay, simply I'll explain you. I already have learnt it in your 11th standard, okay, under excretion lesson. So see here, suppose the water content of the blood increases, okay, the water content of the blood increases, what will happen now? The signal will be given to our brain. Our brain is giving, okay, a signal to the gland to secrete this hormone, which is called as antidiuretic hormone, ADH, vasopressin. Okay, so this ADH hormone, when it is produced in our blood, what will happen? No, the low volume of water is reabsorbed. Nephron function you have learnt, okay, filtration, reabsorption and secretion. So when the body water content is more in our blood, automatically the signal is going to our brain, and which leads to the secretion of less ADH, because this ADH is very essential for more and more reabsorption of water. Okay, so when this ADH is produced, vasopressin is produced in lesser amount, automatically less volume of water is reabsorbed, so urine output will be higher, because blood water content is more, so more water has to be eliminated, excreted out, so to maintain a constant concentration of water. So this is how more water is released out in our urine, so that a water content of the blood becomes normal. Suppose here this is when the water content is more in our blood. Suppose If the same water content is low, okay, under that condition what happens? No, vice versa. See here, the ADH is produced in more amount, okay, so that I volume of water is reabsorbed in the sense from the, what is that loop of Henle, more amount of water will come back to our vasa recta, our blood circulation. So blood regains that water, okay. So it is reabsorbed so that urine output will be very low, because most of the water comes, okay, it comes back to our blood circulation. So very little amount of urine will be excreted out so that the water content will become normal. So this is how osmoregulators are regulating osmolarity in their body. So this is how the organisms can regulate a steady state in their body, and who are we are calling them as regulators, okay. And conformers, of course, I told you they cannot maintain their body condition, but they have some mechanisms to escape that, and we will see it in our next video. And this question is given in your book, children. Why these conformers had not evolved to become a regulators? Conformers can become a regulator. No, why it is not possible? When you see, the main thing is energy requirement, okay. See here, thermoregulation is energetically expensive for the organism, that is, they have to use some energy, but here these organisms, they cannot, conformers cannot expend their energy to regulate their body condition. So that is a major problem, and there will be heat loss and heat gain is a function of that surface area. When you take some animals, okay, smaller animals, we have Allen's rule and all, okay, I will tell you later in our next video. So here, when you take a small animals, that heat loss and heat gain by the animal, it is something related to their surface area. Suppose if the animal is very small, okay, very smaller animal will have more surface area compared to the volume of their body, okay. So compared to the volume, the surface area which is exposed to the environment is more, okay. So larger surface area and relative to their body volume, so they tend to lose body heat very fast when it is cold outside, okay. Because of this reason only, when you take polar region, the animals which are present in those areas, okay, they will be larger in size. The smaller animals cannot adapt to that lower condition, lower temperature, okay. The reason is the surface area. When more surface area compared to the body volume, so much of heat loss, they cannot survive in that condition, okay. So this is how the conformers and regulators are working, and conformers are escaping from their changes in the environment by using so many methods. We will see it in our next video. To receive our online lesson, please press a subscribe button so that you will receive our latest updates. Thank you, children.